Hey guys, Rexlent here. Welcome to another video. This time for an overview guide for Zhiliu, which is coming to Duet Night Abyss on February 10 from the time of this video's posting. So Zhiliu will be an Electro DPS character, so she's fairly easy to build. As you can see here, she's scaled from all the skill related stats, skill intensity, mostly skill intensity, that's all you need. So before I go into the detail of her skills and her Intron, let me go straight into how she's played. So first things first, her skill, her E skill. There's two ways to activate it. First is by tapping it. Second is by holding it. So see what happens when I tap it. So there will be a seal recorded at the bottom of the screen. So you will see this when you tap it. And now when you hold it, you get a different seal. So you either get a circular ring seal or a spinning disc seal. So all you need to know is that when you tap the skill, she will deal damage around her. And when you hold a skill, she's gonna get a small ultra shield, like so. And the next thing is to activate the seals by using her ultimate. So her ultimate has 4 different forms. Technically 4, but you only need to care about 3. Why I say 4 is because when you only have 1 or 0 seal and then you press ultimate, she's just gonna do a simple like AoE attack around her. This one you're not gonna see as long as you play her correctly. Now let's go through all the different combinations of the seals for her ultimate. Starting with holding it twice. So I already have 1 seal for holding a skill. Let me hold it again. So now I have 2 seals of the whole skill. And now I will press ultimate. When she does this, she's going to activate a field that gives her skill intensity. So you always start with 2 whole skills and ultimate. To go into detail, Fortune's Clarity is the one that you're looking at. So when she has 2 of the whole seals, Shun, she's gonna activate skill damage for herself, which lasts for 24 seconds. And then once you're done with activating the buff for herself, the next thing you want to do is to do 1 seal of each. So 1 tap and 1 hold. So I already have 2 whole seals here. The next seal that you use will always overwrite the second one that you have, the latest one that you have. So 2 whole seals, I'll tap it once. So see now she has 1 disc and 1 ring, 1 circle, 2 different seals, and now you press ultimate again. So this attack will leave behind a DOT field. It takes a bit longer to execute, but then it leaves behind a field, and then you can see the timer at the bottom of the screen. Also 24 seconds for this field. So that's step 2. Step 1, again, step 1 is to put the buff for herself, 2 whole skill, and then ultimate. So this is the buff. And then step 2, tap it once. And then press ultimate. And this is for the DOT. And now for the last step would be the last seal, which is 2 tap seals. 2 tap, so 2 rings now. And then press ultimate. And this is the one that you can spam a lot. You just keep pressing ultimate as long as you have 2 ring seals. Like so. So Zhiliu is pretty easy to play. That's all you need to know. You start with 2 whole to put up the buff for herself, and then you move on to tapping to make it different seals. To put the DOT. And then you make both seals into tap seals to do her main damage, the main spam, like that. So there is a bit of detail that I need to go through. Notice how I'm constantly spamming her skill. Normally, when you activate her ultimate, it's gonna consume both of her seals right away. However, in Zhiliu's main passive, she has a chance of retaining her seal after you use them. That's why you see my seal never getting expended. So this chance is based on skill level as well as your melee weapons trigger probability. So now I have a skill at level 8. I have 42%. At level 10, it should be at 50% base stat plus 50% of your melee weapon trigger probability. That means that you want your melee weapon to be at 100% as much as you can. So speaking of melee weapons Demon Edge, just put all the Trammel that you can find, Trammel as well as Kismet, to boost your melee weapon probability all the way to 100%. So that means that her seal will never be going away at level 10. At level 10, you're gonna get 50% base trigger and 50% of your weapon. So 50% of 100% weapon will be 50. So 50 plus 50 will be guaranteed skill retention. And then obviously, Her best partner to pair with would be none other than Fuxu. Fuxu, the sanity battery. Fuxu will always keep her filled up with her sanity, and then you can spam her skill over and over. So once again, with the probability thing, I only have, I think, 8% chance of not returning my seal. So now I have a 2 circle, and then I use my ultimate. See how the circle is always staying? Like so. So this is what happens when she's dealing her main damage. So see, when I fail, I already use up a seal. And I got 1 back instead. So when this is at 100%, you're not going to see this happen at all. She's going to have a seal forever. All you need to do is just spam Q after you put up her buff and her DOT. So again, from the top again, first things first you need to do is do 2 hole to this seal. And then you press ultimate to buff herself. And then you tap it once. So one same one, 2 different seals. And then ultimate again. And now she will place the DOT field. And now you want to tap twice. So that 2 rings, there's 2 rings. And then you just spam this. So this will be the main damage dealer. And then you rinse and repeat again whenever the buff and DOT has run out. Just look at the bar at the bottom of the screen. So around at 3 seconds, you can just repeat again. Repeat. Hold again. Hold 2 times. Ultimate. Buff for herself. Tap once. Ultimate. Set up the DOT. Tap once again. Spam ultimate. Like so. Now moving on to the next part, her skills. So you already know her first skill is just placing the seals. Tap is to deal damage, and holding is to give herself Ultra Shield. You don't have to go your way out to activate this to get the shield, just do it to get the ultimate done. And definitely level the 2 passives after, which gives a 15% morale boost. Ultimate is the one that you want to prioritize leveling into. Ultimate is where all her damage comes from. And then for passive, you already know. Passive, there's a base trigger chance to retain the seal that she has. And then for her next passive, gain 1 stack of morale whenever the user or any ally deals electro skill damage up to 20 stacks. And lastly, for her AI skill, increase attack by 50% for herself and also electro allies. For Demon Wedges, this is something simple that I came up with. First things first, you put the middle one. I just put dodge attempt increase as usual, especially when she's in main DPS, so chances are you're going to be controlling her most of the time. And then followed by the usual Wings Inspo. If you don't have it, I highly recommend owning this. This is really good on any character. Sanity increase and skill efficiency increase. And then the next thing for Thunder Wildfire, I recommend Thunder Wildfire over Thunder Midnight Sun. Midnight Sun gives duration, but you can go with skill range instead. Her duration is further unneeded, especially if you have Intron. I'll get to that later. And then next thing, obviously you'll go with Prime Morale, since Zhiliu is fully morale based, as you can see from his skills. And the next thing, Ravaging Thunder. And then the last 4 pieces, you can just put Blaze Volition, which just gives her even more attack and skill intensity. So really simple to build. Now for her weapon, Eternal Farewell, this will be available in Immersive Theater. This effect is built for her, morale plus 15%, and then whenever an Electro character uses an ultimate skill, grant 25% skill intensity for 12 seconds, up to 3 stacks. So that's a 75% increase in skill intensity. This is perfect for her because she's going to be using her ultimate skill over and over. You're going to get all these stacks right away. For range weapon, Zhiliu's bonus weapon is Dual Pistols. If you have X-Chris Duo, this is good for her as well. Straight up skill intensity increase. Now for the melee weapon, Demon Wedge, I already went through earlier. Most importantly, you want to build her trigger probability all the way to 100%. So just throw all the tremels in for her and then it's good to go. As for the range weapon, anything goes. Most of her scaling comes from her melee weapon and also herself, so just put whatever you want. Now let's talk about Intron, starting with Intron 1. This is basically a small boost to 2 skills. Number 1, Thunder's Oracle Peel. That's the spam skill you do with your ultimate, and this will boost her skill intensity buff by 3.5 seconds after you cast it. So it's basically this one. You tap and hold twice to put down the skill damage increase field. And then now when you do the double tap ultimate, this will extend it by 3.5 seconds every time you do it. Now for the second effect, every time you do Thunder's Oracle Peel, it's also going to trigger damage from the DOT field, 60% of the base damage. Alright, now for her Intron 2, it's interesting. She gets 2 functions now for her ultimate. Basically, you have the option to go AFK now. So the first function, whenever you tap the ultimate to activate her DOT, instead of targeting up to 5 enemies, it's gonna target up to 8 enemies now. That gets the DOT every 3 seconds. And the other function, when you hold the ultimate, it's gonna stay for the rest of the battle, and it's gonna drain 6 sanity per second. And this field will end whenever sanity reaches 0, or if you cast a skill, or when you use a weapon. So basically, you just go AFK. So to illustrate the example, I will use Zhiliu's first skill first. Usual, hold twice. Ultimate for the buff. And now you tap once as usual. Tap once. And then I'll tap ultimate as usual. So this will put the 24 seconds DOT field. Except this time, it's enhanced. It's gonna hit 8 enemies instead of 5 enemies now, thanks to Intron 2. And now if I hold ultimate, this is what happens. Now the field is blue, and then there's no longer a countdown bar at the bottom of the screen. It's indefinite. And it's also draining sanity on Zhiliu every second. But this is not an issue with Huaxu around. Just note that this field ends the moment you use your weapon or your skill, or when sanity reaches 0. So if I press a skill, like if I want to use a double tap skill ultimate, it's gonna disappear. So this is strictly for AFK. So that's it for Intron 2. For Intron 3, the usual skill level increase. For Intron 4, whenever there's excess sanity, it grants 1 stack of attack boost, 16% attack. For Intron 4, whenever there's excess sanity, grants 1 stack of attack boost for 16 seconds for herself and allies, stacking up to 5 times. So this goes up to 80% attack increase whenever her sanity is at max. This is really good with Huaxu when she starts pulsing her sanity. As you can see, it stacks at the bottom of the screen. For Intron 5, same thing, skill level increase. And then for Intron 6, this is where it gets interesting. Whenever within 4 realms aligned, that's the DOT skill. Whenever you're inside the range, increase her penetration stats by 40% and also gain skill damage boost from Fortune's Clarity. So Fortune's Clarity is the first step that you do every time. This skill over here. So with Intron 6, you can skip this step now. You don't have to do this anymore. Because just by being inside the DOT field is gonna give you that skill damage boost. Completely skipping a whole step. Next thing, again, a reminder, Zhiliu will be replacing Kezhou in Immersive Theater. So just do your repertoire, get all her secret letters, and also you can exchange for her weapon inside the shop for Eternal Farewell. As for the character pairing, as you can see, she pairs really well with Huaxu. And then for the third character, I recommend either another Electro character or Hydro character so that they can trigger Huaxu's third passive, more skill damage if 2 allies have the same element. Really flexible since Zhiliu will be carrying for most of the fight. Can even put Rebecca in it for more AFK time. But yeah, that wraps up the overview guide for Zhiliu. Highly recommended DPS character, especially for AFK farming. Intron 2 as a sweet spot, and then Intron 6 for full AFK power. At Intron 6, once you set up a field, that's all you ever need to do. You don't even need to renew any buffs anymore. Huaxu will take care of the rest. And then you can throw in Rebecca for even more DOT. Like in this example over here, destroying level 100 enemies. Don't need to do anything. And then if there are elites appearing, then you can manually control Zhiliu and do the other ultimate instead, the 2-tap skill ultimate. But yeah, not only she's waifu, she's also really strong. Good time to jump into this version now to farm your next main DPS. And there's also a couple of events that also give freebies, as well as a returner campaign, and reputation quest where you can unlock a free mount, Mecha-Sable Bi'an, as well as other things. And that's the end of the video. Download link is in the description below. If this video has been helpful to you in understanding Zhiliu and building her, then consider leaving a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.